Well, inshallah, imagine every single week you could have 200, 300, and 400 people. Imagine how this will change the full Muslim community. Then this building won't be enough. And then we may need another building. Then we may need a Jamia Masjid to facilitate us. In the 11 years of Nubuwwah after Hijrah, the Muslims, where did they work from? They worked from Masjid al-Nabawi, where the roof was leaves of trees. They didn't have carpets like this. When it used to rain, the Sahaba couldn't even do sujood properly. The masjid was even inadequate for salah. And the purpose of the masjid is salah. But this masjid, not just that, the first candle was lit in Masjid al-Nabawi around 6 to 9 years later. There wasn't even light in this masjid, physical light. But of course, the spiritual light illuminated the entire world. Because the focus of the Prophet ﷺ was not on buildings, it was on people. The focus of the Prophet ﷺ was on the hearts of the men and women and the children of the community. And once their hearts were lit, then buildings and all of these things will come. But when we focus on buildings and projects, to build this project and this dome and this minaret, and then we fall in line with the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ. مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرًا وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى. That the masajid, the houses of Allah, are well built. وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى, but is stripped and empty of guidance. لَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا رَسْمُ وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ إِلَّا إِسْمُ. Where what remains of Islam is just its name, and what remains of the Quran is a script. The masajid are well built, but is empty and stripped of guidance. Because the focus was on bricks, but bricks do not lead the ummah, unfortunately. The bricks and wealth and money, they do not lead the ummah. You're going to have the biggest bricks in the world, biggest buildings in the world, the biggest domes in the world made of gold, but it's not going to lead your ummah. What's going to lead the ummah are the youth, are the men and the women that you make effort behind. And that was the effort of the Prophet ﷺ. He wasn't interested in wealth. And again, going back to before I get shot at, wealth is something which is necessary for the ummah. I'm not discouraging wealth. But his movement wasn't about wealth. If wealth was a necessary factor, if buildings were a necessary factor, then this would have been at the forefront of his agenda. But the Prophet ﷺ, he left this world and didn't even care about how the Masjid Nabawi looked. He didn't care whether the Romans thought, mashallah, look at the Muslims, they have a strong, solid center with marbles and gold dome and everything. He had no care for this, not a single instruction. He just told the Sahaba, make sure it's clean. And if they had spit in the mouth and spit, then make sure, the Prophet ﷺ said, take the soil and make sure you cover it. And he encouraged the Sahaba, if there's anything dirty in the soil, in the masjid, then clean it. That was the instruction regarding the building. Today, if you look at our masajid, what's our focus? How much do we invest? How much time, effort, money, resources do we invest in nurturing the hearts of men and women and the youth? And how much time and resources do we invest in nurturing bricks, masajid, place of prayer, or the wudu area, or this construction work, or that construction work? How much time and effort do we spend? How many announcements do we make on our WhatsApp groups? And after Jummah, we need the money of the community because we need more bricks. We need this much of the community because we need this brick. We need this much money because we need this many taps. How many times do we hear announcements that we need money because we need to work on the project, we need to work on da'wah projects. We need education facilities. We need to give training on atheism. We need to give training on spirituality. We need to bring in these scholars so we can benefit from that scholar and this scholar and this scholar. What are the travel expenses? Let's pay for their travel expenses. Let's gather money together to create and nurture the hearts of men and women in our communities that can lead the ummah. Or is the announcement that, brothers and sisters, reach down into your pockets, we need more bricks. We don't have enough bricks. We need more bricks. Give us more and more bricks. The bricks will not do nothing for the ummah. The bricks will do nothing for the ummah. The bricks is the last thing that we think about. Because what use is bricks if there's no hearts to lead it? No, wars aren't won by swords. It's won by who? It's won by the brave men that carry the swords. Swords and shields in a war without the hearts of brave men is what? Is useless. Imagine investing in swords and swords, but there's no men to carry them. There's no brave men. There's no men who can be described. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. You have resources, you have bricks, you have wealth and money, but there's not a single person that can be described with this quality. That from amongst the people are men who have sold themselves for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine having all the resources, all the buildings, but not a single man or woman or child in this building that fits this attribute. That they have sold themselves for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have all other resources, but a single man or woman or child with this attribute, رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. That men who have been truthful to the promise that they made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبًا. There are those who have fulfilled their promise and have left this world. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. There are those who are still waiting. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Their intention, their direction, their purpose does not shake or waver. They are set and firm in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine investing so much in resources, but you're empty of these men and women and children that are needed to revive the ummah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq, inshallah, to become a part of this change, inshallah. So this is why I encourage, and I'll mention it again, all brothers and sisters to please prioritize the halaqah, give da'wah towards the halaqah, and our target and goal is to have at least 200-300 people. And if we have 200-300 people who have the same vision, same goal, same purpose, who are spiritually purified, then there's nothing that can stop the deen of Allah from spreading. There's nothing that we can't achieve. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq, inshaAllah.